Hello guys, this is KTP Vlogs or TPC Production here as I'm back doing another video on my vlog channel here. As you guys see by the title, of course I am doing another book review from the Goosebumps original series. And of course, as today I'll be doing the review on one of my other favorite books from the series, and that is How to Kill a Monster. So of course, it was kind of nice going back to read this story, and I kind of forgot how I guess short the story was, as it kind of gave me good memories because I actually give you guys a little, I guess, do a little history of this story. I actually did this story for school as I think, reading like review of a book, and this was one of the books I did do like a book review on the story and all this stuff. So it was kind of nice of remembering the story a lot and knowing how great it was still is to this day as of me going back looking back at it. Of course, as this version of this book, of course, I actually had the original, the original cover of the book, and I don't have the original copy of the when it first came out. So this is actually the re-release version at the time, probably during like 2003 or four. I think it was 2003, I believe. And I think at that time they was promoting. I guess they was bringing back Goosebumps. Like re-releasing it again. And because inside the book, I noticed that it has like the scholastic stuff and all that, and actually was showing the copy of the DVDs that was coming out at the time. So like you see here, I think it's Cry of the Cat, Deep Trouble, and How I Got My Shrunken Head. I think it's like 2005 or 2008. 2005. So at the time, in 2008, I did see these DVDs like on the shelf at like Walmart and all that stuff. And these actually were on DVD because that's when Goosebumps came back on Cartoon Network, and they actually start showing they actually put Goosebumps on Cartoon Network, and at the time it was haunting hour. Don't think about it. So of course, as this book was kind of during that era, of course, of re-releasing the books again. So that's why, like I said, this has the of course the logo like this because it kind of reminds me of the Series 2000 logo. And then of course they just re-released a copy of the story again. And of course this version, of course, is actually the I guess one of the earlier books that was got re-released at the time. Because back then, of course, they used to be $2. But of course, finding books like this today, $10 now, 11 or $12, unless you have like a lot or whatever. But of course, it was kind of surprising of having, of course, this story, and I was kind of glad I actually had, glad I still had this book. Besides, of course, one of my favorites from the series. So, of course, that was a little history of you guys knowing about how I actually how this story was the one I did for a book report when I was in middle school. I think it was like 2009. So, of course, it was kind of surprising that I still have the story of this book. So it's kind of a good thing. So, of course, let's get into a review of this book. The story is about, of course, two characters here. Of course, it was Gretchen and Clark, as I remember. And of course, they were going to stay with Gretchen's grandparents in the swamp, and their parents were in the story in the book in the story, of course, and they dropped them off because the I think Gretchen's father marries Clark's mother, and in the story they actually have a dog with them too. So it's kind of surprising about that. Of course, how the story will be kind of be if it was something shocking going down. Of course. So of course, as they kind of stayed with the grandparents for a while, and basically, of course, and surprisingly, they kind of felt very, of course, weird about it. Of course, of their grandparents acting, well, Gretchen's grandparents acting kind of strange, and has a whole bunch of food for something, but it wasn't for them, of course. And they always tell them don't go into the room that's locked upstairs, which kind of leads to, of course, yes. And as how the book start, of course, the pacing was great. I actually like how the pacing of them trying to like why is Gretchen's grandparents acting strange and everything. And of course, surprisingly, yeah, encountered a monster. So the whole story from I say from beginning to end was great. I mean, it's surprisingly this book is only 112 pages. Surprisingly, back then, I guess it kind of makes sense. Like that's why people kind of like, oh, the story could have been more. It could have been more. Like you kind of expect this story will be for, of course, like a 7 or 8 year old kid reading, and I kind of think that's kind of what makes sense of these stories, and that's what I like about these stories because they uh, they kind of keep you engaged, keep you reading. So that's what I like about this story from beginning to end. I like how many times they tried to, of course, kill the monster, and shockingly, something in the story that kind of solves the problem in some ways. And in some cases, it was a great story from beginning to end. And I actually would recommend anybody to read How to Kill a Monster. And I say this was one of the good stories to read. And surprisingly, some people it will say like it's overrated or stuff like that, but to me, I like it. I mean, in course of the stories that were in between this one, I think it was Ghost Camp. I think Legend of the Lost Legend, and of course Say Cheese and Die Again. Of course, a lot of people hate on that one, but like the ones before it, like I think it was Beast from the East and Egg Monster from Mars, actually were good ones too. I actually read those as well. I have Egg Monster from Mars, and I used to have Beast from the East, but I don't have the book as of today. But it would be nice to actually get that one again. But of course, I say that as some people will kind of hate on like the later books, like when you get to like the 30s or the 40s sections of the books, and kind of shocking like this one is actually kind of a good one to read. And of course, Ghost Camp is too. So I can't forget about that. Ghost Camp was actually good too. I actually like that one as well. And some people, it was a ghostwriter writing that story. He didn't write the story. He didn't write the story. That's what they will always say. But of course, like I said, in the Stay Out of the Basement video, or The Girl Who Cried Monster, of course, he, he, it wasn't just Goosebumps he was doing. He was doing Fear Street, then, and standalone books, regular just novels, and Goosebumps. So he had multiple books that he was doing, and then of course, even when Goosebumps stopped in 2000, of course, I like the Riding School series, the mostly ghostly ones. Then of course his short story collections. It wasn't just uh, Goosebumps that it was the most important. He had other book series to work on. So yeah, so I had that's why I would kind of say of it like the it kind of the makes sense of why this book is this or that, and they'll just have lame excuses, hating on it. But to be honest, is this book is actually great to read, so I can't see the problem with this book at all. It's still a great story to read. And of course, I actually like the episode as well, too. This one as well. I kind of like how the episode was. It kind of stayed faithful to the book actually. Instead of there was the dog that was in the story was not in the episode, or their parents were not in the episode. It was just the grandparents, uh, Gretchen and Clark's parents. They were not in the episode at all. So it was kind of like there was some things that was there, and then some things that was not in the episode. So that's why I kind of say like I said, it'd be different when you look at it, and then it will be kind of correct afterwards. But overall, as I say, for How to Kill a Monster, it's actually a great story to read, definitely, and I think it's still one of the good ones to actually enjoy, especially. It was kind of nice to going back to it and looking at it again. And so glad I still have this book too, because it'd be kind of surprising. Like I never had one of my favorites in the series. So like I said, Stay Out of the Basement and The Girl Who Cried Monster is my top two favorites. And this one I can see being my probably top 10, because it's still a good story to follow, still a good story to read. So the next review, of course, it will be um, Beware the Snowman, which I'm actually kind of was so happy to actually read a couple of days ago, of course. And it was kind of nice going back to that one too, because I only read it once. Think about, I believe, back in 2008. I think it was 2018 when I read Beware the Snowman. So it was like uh, 7 years ago. So it's kind of nice going back to that story, reading that one too, because definitely like the atmosphere and the how the story was, and it actually gets you into that cold winter vibe, and that's what I kind of like about that one. So stay tuned for that video, of course, and of course the last video before Halloween, it will be on one of my Fear Street books that I have. Definitely will review that one too. And that will kind of conclude the Halloween season of book reviews that I've done. So yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy How to Kill a Monster and what you guys think of it. What's your thoughts on this story? Is the story still great to look to read, and is it still a good one to check out? Just let me know. So I hope you guys enjoy the review, and stay tuned for the next one. That's Beware the Snowman. And like, comment, subscribe, and share. Check out the other two book reviews. Stay Out of the Basement video actually did have problems. So I hope in this video there's no problems at all. So that's what I hope for, because the audio, the camera was glitching and all that stuff. So I hope it's not glitching in this one. and I had to make a part in the video, tell you what was going on and all that stuff at the end. So I hope it's okay in this one. So yeah, just let me know, guys. Hope the connection stays good. So yeah, so see you guys next time, and peace.